Hello, this is the first video I've made with an audience, although she's losing interest. So, how do we sell SEO when people don't know what it is? Well, most of the last 20 years people have been selling SEO as like, ooh, it's mysterious stuff. And that's always kind of bugged me because I don't think it is mysterious stuff. To me, it's quite straightforward. So I've spent many years saying to people, hey look, you can do this yourself, it's just SEO, here's how. And I think that's fine, and I think explaining processes is a good way of selling things for any agency, not just SEO agencies. Partly because people see that you know what you're talking about, and also it just seems like quite a positive thing. But I've come to realise over the last few months that it's probably alright that people think SEO is complicated. It's fine, they don't necessarily want to know what's going on, they just need to know what the end result is. I'll give you an analogy from another industry. My tooth's about to fall out. I broke it when I was like 10 years old, and it's a bit like an old Chevette I used to have. It's been repaired so many times in little ways that it's just kind of dead now, just going to give up. So I know who's going to fix it. I know it's going to be my dentist. I know how much it's going to cost. It's not cheap. And that's about it. I don't know how he's going to do it. I don't know the ins and outs. So why am I going to pay him a lot of money to do it? And it's because of trust. I trust he knows what he's doing, and we've built up a relationship over many years, and he's looked after me very well. So how can we equate this to running an SEO agency? So how can we equate the trust building to an SEO agency? I think the answer is tricky. I mean, I have methods and I'm constantly trying to improve them, but it's essentially the same situation. We're asking for some money to do something that the client isn't necessarily going to understand all the nuts and bolts of. So that's why, as SEO agency owners or business development or salespeople or whoever you are actually in an SEO agency, I think that's why building trust is really important. Now, there's two clear points here. There's building trust during the sales process and the marketing process, and then building and developing and embracing trust with the client once you start working for them. So part number one, building trust up front. If somebody approaches you and is interested in having some SEO done, it doesn't mean they know what the problem is. Going back to my tooth analogy, I know my tooth's broken. I know it needs to come out, believe me, I know. But somebody approaching us for SEO work doesn't necessarily know exactly what they need. In fact, I think even though SEO has been around for years, I've been doing it for 23 years, longer than that actually, even although it's been around a while, I'm not sure people really know exactly what to expect from it. People still kind of potentially think, oh, it's a checklist thing, or it's a way I can get ahead of my competitors, but they might not really understand what it is. If you're watching this and you're in SEO, you know what it is. It's authority and context, and then about a million other things. But anyway, so what I do, if somebody comes to me and says, I need SEO, I tend to say, why? And I mean that very gently. It's not that brutal when I ask. And if they're interested and they can tell me exactly where they are with their business, then I'll do a little bit of research for them to build trust. I'll say, okay, leave it with me. I'm just going to go and see how much opportunity there is in the market, try and spot a few things we might be able to do for you. Then I essentially make a little report video. It's normally about 10 minutes long, and it goes into some depth, but it doesn't talk about anything technical. But it shows trust. It shows, hey, look, I know what I'm talking about. This isn't just kind of pre-prepared script stuff that you see on a YouTube video or on a LinkedIn post. This is me looking at your business and showing you what I think the initial opportunities are. It seems to work quite well. I think it's a good trust builder, because I say, look, if you've got any questions about that, let's talk. And there are always questions. One of the things actually, as a little extra hint I do in that, is I do a bit of competitor research. And using simple tools like Semrush, I can say, look, this is where your competitors rank, this is where you rank. Would you like to improve that? So from that point on, we have almost a focus point. We have something that says, I've shown you I know what I'm talking about. Now I'd like you to put your trust in me and my agency so that we can make things better for you. So part two of that is always building trust. And I think with clients, you have to do this with transparency. You have to say, these are the things we're doing. Manage expectations. Look, this should work, but it could take a while, or this is a bit experimental. don't think you can be massively risk averse in SEO, but you also don't want to take wild risks ever. And then with reporting and just having conversations. And I think that's crucially important, because earlier in the video I said that SEO used to be sold as woo. And I think if you stick with that past the sales point, then you're in trouble. I've gotten clients because people have contacted me and said, we were working with someone who did SEO, but we never felt we got our money's worth. And I always say, oh, why is that? And almost every time they'll say, because we didn't know what they were doing. So be transparent. I think it's good. I mean, if I go back to the tooth analogy, last time I had a tooth repaired, the dentist said, would you like me to show you which tools I'm going to use? And I was like, no, I don't want to know that. And the reason is, it's because I trust him, but I like the fact he was transparent and trustability enough. That's a rubbish word. I like the fact he was transparent. He was going to say, look, I can show you exactly what I'm going to do. So yeah, transparency, reporting, trust, all very important. I'm wandering off point. Before I wrap it up, I wanted to say that this kind of building trust by doing a little bit of research at the beginning is quite contrary to a lot of business advice you might read or even hear or get from your own coach. And I consider SEO to be part of the creative industries. So yeah, the advice for creative industries is never give away anything without being paid. So in theory, I shouldn't be building trust by doing a bit of free research, but honestly, I don't really know what else to do. I don't have a better suggestion, especially because if people don't understand what you're going to do for the money that you're going to ask them to give to you, then showing them a little bit of that I think is a good thing. I'd be interested in knowing what you think. I mean, how does your sales funnel process work? I'm being quite open and transparent and building trust with you, the viewer, in this video. But share, how do you do it? Do you do little free reports? I know a lot of people run site audits. I've not done that very often because most site audits just say, here's a load of technical stuff, and I don't want to blind people with science. I want people to know that what I'm doing is intelligent and well thought out, but I don't want them to think I'm a wizard waving my hands or doing mystical things. Anyway, let me know what your sales process is, and let me know if you've got any good suggestions for how to build trust at any point of your client relationship. Thanks for watching. Now, while these little boxes pop up, I'm just going to try and remember how to go cross-eyed, which I used to be able to do when I was a kid. Is that working? Thank you.